NTV.
Morning at NTV. We are live from Kampala's Renner Conference Center. I'm Andrew Chama Giromuntu. So deal we are hunger happens to be in Mbale town, and he's going to be giving us an update on a couple of things as and when they happen. We're still looking at about the same things about the elections of the mayors and other elective positions. Now, during a 5-day internet shutdown, some of the most affected people were the entrepreneurs and Ugandans who do business dependent entirely on the internet and financial technology. Now, to speak to us about that and more, we have Mr. Herbert Olowo, the Fintech professional. He's a member of the FITSPA, a Fintech Professionals Association. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Well, it's an honor to have you here today. First, Herbert, tell us about the moment it finally hit you that the shutdown was in proportion and it was already rolling, and what it meant to you from the business sense.
Thank you very much. Very good question. So from the financial services perspective, I hope you'll allow me to take this off since we are safely seated apart. I'll just put this here. So the financial services were greatly impacted by this outage, because when we realized the internet was off, unlike earlier when we had thought it would not be the whole internet, it meant a whole host of the services that served the customers were not reachable. And considering what we've been doing, and I'll also be speaking on, well, from a financial services, fintech, the banks, all of those. So there was lots of internet banking wasn't possible. Payment of services wasn't possible.
Even mobile money was disturbed.
Mobile money wasn't working, and these have become part of our life. So it was really difficult. But it also means we were not able to make any money, because a lot of transactions went off. We're not even able to bring in goods. We're not able to do any importation because we couldn't even pay the taxes at the time. So it really had a big impact on us, and we were scuttling around looking for what can we do to restore some services. As the banks, at least we had the ATMs working, we had the points of sale devices working, we were able to run our branches very well from a banking perspective. But besides that, we actually went several years back into probably 15 years back.
From your perspective, still as someone in fintech, have you at any one time thought of what could be your fallback position in the wake of a shutdown of internet? Because you understand with technology, you're always looking at the margin of everything failing, but you still have to move regardless.
So I must say that we had not expected the internet to shut down, ever. And it is actually what we were building our reliability on. And I want to give an example that all of us can relate with. At very few times, probably once or twice, will anyone say, my Gmail or my Google has failed? Because every time you go out, you'll want to use Google. So our depending on the internet was trying to build the capability and reliability 24/7, 365 hours a day on the internet. So now we have to start thinking differently about how we build the services. It will definitely be more costly, because we will try to bring a balance between several years ago and today, which is quite some work to do on our perspective.
Wow. What did the shutdown mean to your members of the association? I understand as someone who is actually at the core of everything with fintech, they have to run to you and they're like, can we find solutions? How bad was it for them?
So it actually affected the financial services industry in a big way. I happen to be the chair of the Uganda Bankers Association IT Information Technology Subcommittee.
So you work with Wilbrod?
Yeah, I work with Wilbrod, but I also work for Stanbic.
Nice.
So generally, as the industry, together with the fintechs, I mean, it was all thinking about how do we start thinking about redesigning to make sure that services do not get impacted when we have such an outage again.
Wow.
So it's more or less going to the drawing board, lots of lessons learned, and probably we will work. I know the MNOs were affected as well, the service providers, and I think it is a discussion that we need to have with the providers to see how can we shut down without impacting some of the services that serve the country and the customers.
Wow. I'm still here with Mr. Herbert Olowo, coming from the fintech business. Earlier on, I told you that my colleague, that is Sudil Biarhanga, who happens to be in Bali, will be joining us today, rather in Mukono. Sudil Biarhanga, where you are, yesterday you witnessed the voting and the low turnout. It was very disturbing. What are the latest updates from where you are? Sudil, what are the latest updates from where you are in Mukono?
Thank you so much, Chamagero. I'm at the district registrar's office. That is where the tally center in Mukono was set, and the tallying started a little bit late. They started tallying the results coming from 619 polling stations that are within Mukono at around, it was after midnight, and you recall that there are over 355,000 registered voters in Mukono, and Mukono has 18 divisions, and also those ones include the 2 divisions that are within the municipality. And so far the results that we have gotten, we see that National Unity Platform is taking the lead. We have 8 who have so far been declared winners. Those are the directly elected councillors, including the woman councillor in the area. 2 of them are from DP, that is the Democratic Party, while so far National Unity Platform has clinched 6 positions. The first is Kalinda Jimmy from NUP, who got 5,701 votes. Then Katongo Ledan from DP got 2,338 votes. And then Kolo Ezra from NUP got 1,435 votes. Damulira Julius from NUP got 5,399 votes. And then as we go down, this morning they announced Nathan Wampi, who got 1,417 votes. Then Kabali Jorem Chimera from NUP got 1,299. And then I see Betty Hope Kabasi, Nakasi, who got 12,427 votes. Then Chembuga Florence from DP got 5,124 votes. Then she's a woman councillor from Mpata and Jeru, Chisoga town. That is along Katosi Road, Katosi Chetume Road. We wanted to know from you, Florence. Florence, just a little bit closer. So far, you've won the position of woman councillor in your area. How was the journey like?
The journey wasn't easy, but we managed, because these NRM goons had a lot of money. They managed to pay people even on the line, but mostly these people from the county council knew what they wanted. People wanted change. People were yearning for change. People from Mpata haven't had elections since they were cut off from Muntenjel.
I see there was a tight competition between you, who is from DP, and NUP. How did you find it?
Probably you're mistaken. We were only 2 in the race. It was DP and NRM. We did not have NUP in my area.
So NRM, let me ask you. You're blaming them for having paid people in the lines, okay? But you got the victory. So do you have evidence to that?
Automatically, they're just misleading people. How can you pay people? That means that they're not doing what they're expected to do. Because if you've done your best, how can you pay someone to vote for you? We need change.
So what change do you want to bring to your area? You as Florence, who is now having the authority to do it.
Change. I want to put my area on top, especially Pata. These people are being left behind. They didn't know that 10 years, they did not know that we have elections. So this was their first time to see elections. So we need a new Uganda. We need change. We are going to to bring service delivery. That's the most important thing.
So what kind of message did you give to these people in your area that really convinced them not to choose NRM that has an upper hand in this area, and instead they chose you?
Honestly, one, I was a down-to-earth person, very disciplined, young, and intelligent. My opponent was, she could not even respect people. And secondly, people were tired of NRM. They've deceived them for so long, seriously. And it was only a race of two people, where we had DP and NRM, so people chose to go with DP.
But do you still believe that at some point you will have to work with NRM because they are in power?
Probably, if you win, you have to work with everyone. I have to work with NRM because one of the sub-counties I'm leading, the person I'm going with to the district is NRM, is NRM Kada, Mpata.
The problems of Mukono are quite protracted. They span way back so many years. They have bad roads, they have poor drainage systems, they have no access to water. How do you intend to address that?
Probably, one, I have to be a voice for the voiceless. Mukono district, especially in my area, we have poor roads. These people have seen that it's time for elections, so they started bringing tractors to dig those roads. Why do you start something towards elections? Do something when you're in power, because people have given you, people have voted for you. They expect a lot from you. So do your expectation.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Chembuga Florence from DP, who won the woman councillor for Mpata and Tenjeru Kisoga Town Council, that is within near Katosi. And of course, we shall be giving you more updates. I hear the returning officer trying to tally results from the various polling stations. And we were told that along the way, maybe towards the afternoon, that's when they are likely to declare the chairpersons or those who have emerged winners.
I will be getting back to you a little later. So do you and my other colleagues around the country in the different polling stations, and they'll be giving us an update. Still with me in studio is Mr. Herbert Oloyo, a fintech professional. From where you stand, Herbert, let's look at, from a business perspective, how much money do you think the fintech industry lost in 5 days of the internet shutdown?
Wow. So that's a very good question. And when you think about it, and if I take a step back, in my view, the fintech in Uganda would mean the telcos, because they've got mobile money, would mean the banks, would mean the innovators that are doing the solutions that are getting people to, getting services to the customer. And probably the closest that I am to right now is the bank that I work for. I work for Stanbic as well as, and we're working on looking at how much, and what would be there is probably numbers that we're able to extrapolate based out of data to show us what would have happened or what we would have done. So in terms of an estimate, I know it isn't a small number because so much was shut down across. Think about mobile money transactions. Think about, for those that ATMs are off, think about taxes that are being paid. Think about forex trade and anyone doing business. In fact, there are some that these days, because of COVID, so much had gone online. So people are working from home. People are trading, people are running businesses from here, people were here but working abroad. So a lot went down. So if we are going to sit down and look at what that cost was, I am sure it is big, and it will have a big impact on the economy. Going
forward, what's the way forward? Where do we go as a country? What do we do? And what's our call to action as citizens?
Well, I think there is a need that we have awareness of the impact of this, and also as an industry, it is to go out and create mechanisms in which we can have granular controls, so that with the granular controls we can actually be able to shut off what we want to shut down.
Okay.
And continue enabling the country and the economy to grow with leveraging technology, because that is the direction things are going right now.
That's the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Herbert Olonyo, a fintech professional. You and I are now much more understanding how the fintech was affected. But this is my humble plea to the government. I think we need to engage brains like him, or we need to engage a FITSPA. These are professionals whereby even if it's a security threat of the internet, they can find how business can stay afloat, and the security detail is attended to in and as when it comes up. Well, my colleague Stephen Mbite is in Kololo with councillors who are going to actually be updating us in one way or the other. But one feedback came here that came in from